What is up? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. I am Marcus Grant, joined by LaQuan Jones. Happy Thursday, LQ, man. How are we feeling today?
Friday Junior, man. The vibes are high, man.
Friday Junior, indeed. Yeah, man. No Florio. He is on his way to New Orleans. I believe it's a bachelor party. He's the best
Yeah.
man, so he had to organize it. I hope he wasn't the one who chose New Orleans.
I was about to say.
Not because it's a bad city. Look, I've been to New Orleans a few times. I've loved it. I've had a great time. Right now, not the best time to be going to NOLA. We were checking the weather reports. Right now, it's 82 degrees with 87% humidity. Thunderstorms are in the area. I know there are some threats of floods. So certainly everybody be safe if you are out in that area. Make sure you are okay wherever you're going to be. If you can get to somewhere safer, absolutely try to do that for anybody that's possible for.
Yeah.
But for Florio, Godspeed, man.
Yeah, man. It just means that you have to do more indoor things and just eat more good food. That's it. There's a win there somewhere.
Plenty of indoor activities you can do in New Orleans and have a good time. So hopefully he'll be back with us next week, which, by the way, we are scheduled to go out to training camps in the next couple of weeks. We will be at Rams camp. We will be at Chargers camp over the next few weeks. So hopefully bringing you some good content from those places while we are out there for sure. So looking forward to that. Should be a really good time. Today, we're going to talk some training camp battles to watch since camps open up. Well, they're opening up, I guess, kind of right now, right? They're starting to, guys are starting to report. Guys are starting to show up. So we will dive into some interesting training camp battles to pay attention to. But first, there are some news headlines. The first one, which came down just about an hour ago or so, Rashee Rice sentenced to jail for his role in a multi-car crash, 30 days in jail, plus a 5-year probation sentence for him. Look, on that is just the punishment handed down from the court system. I would imagine there's going to be a punishment handed down from the NFL as well, some sort of suspension. We don't know what that would be just yet, but I would think if you are in the market to draft Rashee Rice, you need to sort of adjust your expectations and adjust your thinking at this point.
Absolutely. I think some folks out there like myself need some mulligans on some best ball leagues because he was going as the wide receiver 12 in a lot of these leagues. And obviously with this news coming, like, we're probably expecting a 6 to 8 game suspension this season, which is like one of the things that, he needs time to recover from this injury as well. There's some pros in this, if he does miss time earlier in the season, where we've seen the talent he put on and displayed the first couple of games of the season last year, where he was looking like the wide receiver 1. But I think, this gives us some type of discount on him to where I might be interested if he's outside the top 40 wide receivers. Like if he's going in that Brandon Ayuk area, I might go Rice there, like I might pivot to that area, just being that he could end up being like a league winner over there.
It's funny too that we get this news today because on our show on Tuesday, we talked about the idea of the Chiefs offense sort of rebounding back to where it had been the past few years, right? Xavier Worthy saying that he was told by Andy Reid, get your hamstrings ready. We're going to open up this offense. We're going to try to be more vertical. Rashee Rice was going to be a part of that. And look, presumably he still will be. It's just a matter of when he actually gets to get back on the field at this point. But that's going to be delayed. And so it just feels like the Chiefs can't quite get right offensively. Last year they had a lot of injuries. This year it looks like they're going to be dealing with at least one suspension. We'll see. Hopefully everybody else stays healthy. So right now, if you were banking on the big Chiefs offensive revival, it's not done. It's just maybe on hold.
Florio got to adjust those Patrick Mahomes rankings, man.
It's funny because I was looking at it as if this offense really does become more explosive than it has been the last couple of years. I was looking at it's like Mahomes potentially could be undervalued. Obviously losing Rice if he loses him for a suspension is going to impact that a little bit. We'll see what sort of development Xavier Worthy has undergone. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what Travis Kelce has left. I think somebody,
if anything,
I was going to say, somebody asked me this night, Are you in or out on Travis Kelce for this year?
This is the Michael Jackson "This Is It" tour. This is done. You know, like I don't know if I'm in on that. You know, because again, Travis Kelce has not displayed tight end one top tier type of performances in the last 3 seasons. I mean, what more red flags do we need? Like, I'm the guy that takes like real life instances. Like this dude is trying to ride off in the sunset with all the Swifties and stuff, and trying to have like this podcast girl with his brother and stuff. Like, there's a lot going on with Travis Kelce in movies, TV shows. Like, this dude is booked. He is booked and busy. Like, football is just on like the mid tier of that list of being priority. So not saying that he's going to be terrible. It's just that for fantasy, there's different tight end options you can go to without having this type of headache.
I think he's still one of the top 6 or 7 tight ends, but he's more toward the bottom of that group now than once upon a time when he was, he was the guy, right? He was the guy that we were
head honcho.
Right. A couple of years ago, we were like, we're taking Travis Kelce in the first round. I mean, that's where we were a couple of years ago. I'm with you, although I think this is the last year that he's fantasy viable. I mean, who knows? Maybe he retires after this year. I have no idea what his future plans are. But even if he comes back for next year, I think I'm absolutely out. Like this year, I'm hesitant. But if he falls to me in the right spot, I'll make the move. But I think this is it for me when it comes to Travis Kelce as a real fantasy option. Elsewhere in Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs says, I'm being split out wide, quote, way more than the past 2 years.
'Tis the season.
This feels like in the slot. This feels like super smoke screen, right? Like we're not actually buying this, are we?
No, man. This just happens every year. And like I feel like running backs know what they're doing saying this. Like they just want the ball in their hands a lot more. They want a 40-yard handoff. That's all. I guess I could see Gibbs being explosive and being a guy that could be a route runner out of the slot or out wide, but like how often do we honestly want to see that? Like, no.
So he says he's being split out wide way more than the past 2 seasons. Last year, he lined up out wide on 6% of his snaps. 39 total snaps, 6% of the snaps he played, he lined up out wide. So when he says like way more, does that mean he gets up to like 50 snaps?
8%?
I'm like, is he up to like 50 snaps now? Like, I mean, what are we?
Statement.
What are we talking about? And I remember this years ago. Right after the big David Johnson breakout season. So what was that, like 2014, something like that?
Damn, yeah.
I remember because that's when you started hearing more and more about wide receivers lining up lining up in the slot, lining up out wide, like whatever. And like, we would always get hyped, like, oh, he's going to be the pass catcher, right? And then I remember looking at it and seeing that like David Johnson's percentage of like lining up as either in the slot or as a wide receiver was really small. And Christian McCaffrey's was really small, right? And these were the 2 guys we were sort of holding up as the gold standard of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, if it's really small for these guys, like how excited can we be for everybody else?
Yeah.
So,
I'm curious if we could look back for Matt Forte, because he was another guy that I think there was like some type of inklings of like he lining out wide and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure it was very little that happened.
Yeah, I mean, so I think whenever we hear that, I think at this point we've all learned enough that we're like, all right, man, like,
all right, bro, all right, you're just talking, you're just chatting.
And here's the thing, it doesn't diminish Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I mean, he's still coming off the board really, really early. I don't know that this news is going to bump him up much, but I think us not believing it doesn't hurt him. I mean, I think everything kind of stays the same, but it's just like, okay, we're not.
Cool story, bro.
Exactly. Colston Loveland says his shoulder injury is progressing, but he won't really know until training camp. Oof. I don't think I know your feelings on Colston Loveland. I know, like, I'm in on him. I know Florio's in on him. I'm not sure I know where you stand on Colston Loveland.
I wasn't like crazy high on him like all the other draft analysts and stuff like that. Like, it's a tight end at the end of the day, and there's a lot of mouths to feed in this Bears offense. But this does worry me, though, in some of the leagues that, in best ball, that I've waited for him to take him as a tight end 1, where I think now we have to start really looking at Cole Kmet, because like this shoulder injury is going to be like a headline and storyline in August going into the season. Cole Kmet could be installed in this offense because, again, he's a guy that we've kind of seen last year show some flashes. Like, he can route run with the best of them out there, the Mark Andrews and the George Kittles. Like, there just hasn't been a time where he's been utilized like properly. Like the play calling or the quarterback was never on timing or sync with him. Now with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson on the sticks, it's like, okay, maybe Cole Kmet could be looked at now as in the step in as the tight end one if Colston Loveland's going to be dealing with his shoulder injury, or at any time at any point of the season, Colston Loveland goes down with the shoulder injury.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was in on Colston Loveland. I'm, sort of hesitant now. Yeah, I would imagine if this news really picks up some steam, we're going to see him fall a round or two in terms of ADP. So, we'll see how it goes. With Cole Kmet, I'm so frustrated because I remember way back in 2020, like I was on the Cole Kmet train because so many of the metrics, right? Like, route percentage, targets per route run, like all these things were really great. And I kept telling people, go pick up Cole Kmet, right? He's on waivers. He's available. Go get him. All the metrics are great. Everything worked out except Jimmy Graham kept scoring touchdowns. Like that was right. And so
away.
Right. I mean, that was the thing. Like every week I was on the podcast. I was on Fantasy Live. I'm like, go get Cole Kmet. And then Jimmy Graham would score another touchdown. And then I'm just like sitting here just like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like everything looked good except that last part. So that's my frustration with Cole Kmet. I know what happened in 2020 shouldn't impact the way I think in 2025, but it does. It happens.
It does, man.
It happens. Last bit of news here. We'll get some of your questions. We see a lot of questions in the chat. Feel free to throw some in there. We will get to as many of them as we can. Najee Harris is going to the non-football injury list, according to our own Ian Rappaport. Don't expect it to be a lengthy stay. This is obviously connected to the fireworks incident that happened on the 4th of July, where he suffered what is being called a superficial eye injury. So, apparently this is going to be kind of, I guess this is just precautionary, LaQuan, and the thought is he's going to be back pretty soon.
Yeah, he should be back really soon. I think this is kind of like a snip-snap situation. Like he'll be on it and then off, and I'm not going to take this as a huge concern for him. And I think, right now we're already dealing with Martin Hampton's ADP reaching dangerous heights. Like he's currently the RB14 right now. I can only see this going up to RB10. Like I can easily see him getting pushed the closer we get to camp, the closer we get to preseason, and the closer we get to week 1, where I think he's going to dangerous heights. And you're going to forget that Najee is in-house. He's constantly going to be there as the nuisance.
Yeah. Speaking of in-house, Jim Harbaugh saying that Najee has reported to the Chargers facility, quote, he's in meetings. Just great to have him. A lot of gratitude that he's here. So even if he's not necessarily going to get on the field right away, he is there. He's with the team. I would think that in short order, he's going to be, back up in pads and out on the field for sure. A few of the questions in the chat. We'll get to those, and then we'll talk about some of our training camp battles to watch. This one from DG. How do you feel about the QB wide receiver stack concept? And other than Burrow, Chase, which stacks do you think will be the most successful this year? Your thoughts on stacking?
Stacking. I like the Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams stack because you could wait on both of those. And I think, honestly, we're going to be able to talk about Rome Odunze in the same breath that we talk about Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, these strong twos, like even the T. Higgins maybe. So I like the Caleb and Odunze stack because I'm really in on the Bears offense this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on them. And I think you're right. The price is really good because the Burrow Chase stack is going to be costly. Because really, if you're not in the first 2 or 3 picks of your draft, you're not going to get Ja'Marr Chase. Maybe a T. Higgins, Joe Burrow stack is a little more cost effective.
Yeah. I'm about to say like T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Joe Burrow stack isn't terrible. Like I kind of like that.
Yeah, if you're gonna double stack or triple stack, however we're calling that, I think that's kind of an interesting way to go. I do like your Williams Odunze. I'm trying to think of what else. I guess a Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin stack's kind of pricey as well.
That's pricey, yeah.
Look,
Lamb and Dak, that's a perfect stack there.
Lamb and Dak's a really good stack.
Dak is going QB 12 right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Lamb is the pricier part of that stack. What would you think about this? Is maybe a kind of a Hail Mary, but a Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter stack.
Oh my God. Trevor Mid-Lawrence making the show again, ladies and gentlemen.
I just wanted to make you talk about Trevor Lawrence.
How much of a headache is this going to be, though, with Travis Hunter? Like, how much is he going to play defense and offense? We still don't have the in-stone thing about that. And I even thought about yesterday. I was like, what if there's, like, a game where he doesn't play offense at all, and they need the help this week on defense because they have so many injuries? Like, this could happen. Like, that's why I'm totally off the Travis Hunter, like, a project experience. I want to see how it plays out in year one before I start investing and drafting and putting on teams and matching him with Trevor Mid-Lawrence.
Yeah. Clemcast had one that actually had in my head too. Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams.
Ooh, I love that one.
You can get that one for a pretty good draft price. You don't, because you know Stafford you can get really late. Even Adams, you're not having to pay a high draft price for.
Facts.
That is a pretty good one. Yeah.
Stafford's QB 24 right now. That's a huge discount.
That feels that's
wrong.
That's borderline disrespectful. Christian wants to know: are we out on Judkins after that report? So I mentioned this, to you guys privately. Like I have been hesitant to sort of get in on this story just because, you know, when it comes to things like, you know, domestic violence and assault and those sorts of things, it's always sort of unsavory to tie them into fantasy. I think right now, I will say this: I was never big on the Browns offense to start with. I would very much wait to see what the Browns are going to do, what the league may do. You know, so I guess that's sort of my feeling on it. Obviously, whatever's happening, I think he needs to take care of away from the team before he worries about football. But I would sort of make my decision based on what it is.
He's not even signed, so there's a lot of variables in this too. Like the Browns can be like, "All right, see ya," and then it could just be that, and nobody picks him up. So if your draft ain't this week, then you have nothing to really worry about. Just wait and see until this plays out in the end of August.
Yeah, that's the other part too. Like if you're not drafting right away, I mean, I know people are still doing best ball drafts and you're in slow drafts and that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, then you maybe have to think about it. But for, you know, if you're just in a home league that doesn't draft for a few more weeks, you kind of have some time to kind of think about that a little bit. Brett wants to know if you have the number 3 pick in half PPR redraft, Chase and Bijan are taken. Who is the pick? So all right, so no Ja'Marr Chase, no Bijan Robinson. Who do you take at number 3?
Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? I mean, we still going to do the discount on Justin Jefferson? Because we got burned last year on that.
Well, yes, that's the thing. There's no discount. Because of what happened last year, there is no discount on Justin Jefferson.
He fell last year to like 107, 108 last year, which is insane.
Which is sort of wild. I mean, I get why it happened. We were all looking at Sam Darnold and being like, I don't really want any part of that. And then Darnold goes out and has a career year. But at least with Darnold, we had an inkling of what he could be in the NFL.
Yeah.
We don't know any of that. Like, we're back in on Justin Jefferson. We're like, yep, he can do it again. We have no idea what J.J. McCarthy's going to be. None whatsoever. Yeah, because McCarthy, like, obviously had success in college, won a national championship in Michigan, but also wasn't really asked to necessarily be the engine that made the offense go. He made plays when they needed him to. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from him, but it wasn't like you looked at him and you're like, yeah, man, like they're going to rise and fall strictly on what happens with J.J. McCarthy. They had so many other pieces around him.
I feel like he has a Brock Purdy season. And I say that only just based on what the Vikings have shown us. Like, even with that Aaron Rodgers rumors and stuff, like the social team were still posting like all of JJ doing like workouts and all these slow motion videos. And like they had like a villain arc trailer some weird trailer that they put out of him. I don't even know what the purpose was, but it was just basically flexing like JJ's our guy. So like, I think there's some type of confidence in JJ that
I think there's a lot of confidence in JJ for sure.
Like I think the great thing about Kevin O'Connell, he has a way of like presenting the game to the quarterback. So if we've seen him be the QB whisperer now to where like you revive Sam Darnold from the grave, my boy, like that is a huge achievement because he was seeing ghost and now he is the demon out there playing for you. But I feel like, you know, at least with JJ, I do feel like the understanding is that target share is king. You know what I mean? Like JJ Jay Jets is still going to be out there, getting the volume and getting the opportunities to be himself. So at 3, I think it's still a no-brainer. I'm not taking Barkley at 3.
Not taking Barkley at 3.
You're bugging.
So yeah, Clemcast, I don't know if you've caught some of our previous shows, whether the live streams or the podcast. We are generally out on Barkley. Certainly at 3, I'm out on Barkley in the first round. Reason being the track record of guys who have run for 2,000 yards in a season. The follow-up has not been nearly as great. On average, look at the 8 guys who've run for 2,000 yards. The following year, on average, they have run for about 940 fewer yards.
Yeah. Barry Sanders, the only god tier, and I don't know if Saquon got that in him. Playing more games, playing more football.
Everybody's like, Saquon's built different. And I'm like, Adrian Peterson was built different. Derrick Henry was built different. Barry Sanders was built, back in the day, O.J. Simpson was built different,
That following season.
Right. All these guys, Eric Dickerson, like all these guys were, quote unquote, built different, but they all followed up with seasons that were,
they were
good.
Built different and then felt different the next year.
Yeah. And so like just with that track record under our belt, I am staying away from Saquon at the price that he's going. Cause I don't know. History has shown that the returns are just not going to be good. I could be wrong, but that's what it is. By the way, yeah. By the way, you were talking about Justin Jefferson. News recently just came down on Jordan Addison. This from Tom Pelissero. Jordan Addison's case has also concluded with a fine and a probation. This was after his reckless driving charge from earlier in the year or last year, I guess it was. A fine and probation for Jordan Addison. We will see if the league hands down any other discipline beyond that. But that's also
in the same courtroom or something. That's crazy.
I don't know. It's just NFL day in the courtroom, I guess, for traffic court, NFL traffic court, I guess.
Who's giving these guys license? I mean, geez, they need to be held accountable too. How did he pass his test?
One more, and then we'll get to some training camp battles. We'll get back to some questions, too, a little bit later. So if you got some, feel free to throw them in the chat. Maggie asking, are you concerned about Kraft's targets being reduced because the Packers took a wide receiver in the first round of the draft, the first time in forever? I mean, I don't know that I feel any differently about Tucker Kraft's targets now than I did before the draft. I think we sort of just washed our hands of the Packers. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
There's just too many guys there.
That's the problem. They got a new shiny toy. There. Like I can honestly see, it could be Golden and Reed as the top 2 target shares. You know what I mean? And then you will have to try to fit in Tucker Kraft somewhere in that 3rd to 4th spot where Romeo Doubs is still out there. Luke Musgrave is being forgotten. Like he's an athletic, fast, tight end as well. So he just was banged up and injured last year. So I think Tucker Kraft may be getting pushed up. Like he was cool to talk about as a late round tight end that you can go and pivot from. Like if you weren't in on Jonnu, if you weren't buying the David Njoku, you can feel safe with a Tucker Kraft. But now his price is starting to raise up closer we get to week 1. And I don't think folks are being aware of like how messed up this target share is going to be for the Packers.
Yeah, it just, there's just so many guys spread around. I mean, Jaden Reed was the leader with 75 targets. Kraft right behind him at 70.
Real nasty work.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to expect big time production when you're only getting 75 targets over the course of the season.
But even look at that. Like Tucker Kraft became the second target because Deontay Wicks couldn't come along or catch the ball. Watson got hurt. Dobbs had concussion issues back in the season. He had an identity issue as well earlier in the season where he was randomly suspended because he was the one screaming he's the wide receiver 1.
That's right.
Apparently you're not. Apparently you're not.
So now that you put it like that, maybe we should be worried that Kraft's targets are going to go down if like all these other guys are healthy and productive and Matthew Golden is in the mix. So maybe it is. I don't know. I don't want to deal with the Packer offense outside of Josh Jacobs. I don't want
and that's another target share guy you got to worry about. He's getting fed too.
Yeah.
He's getting peppered.
So, I don't know. Obviously, for real football, it makes them tough to defend because you have no idea where the football is going. For our purposes, it makes them tough to draft because you don't know where the ball is going. So that's what we want.
Exactly.
Let's get to a few training camp battles to watch. I put down a few here on this list we can dive into. We don't have to dig into them super deep, but maybe the one that jumps out top of mind to me is the Colts quarterback situation, where you got Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. They're both sort of going back to back in ADP. Neither one being considered more than low end QB2 right now.
I mean, yeah. But you know how I feel about Daniel Jones. It's not because we share the same last name. It's just that I think there's upside here that we're not really looking at. Like, if Danny Dime come in as week 1 as the starter,
which I think he will, by the way.
Me too. I think this is beneficial to the wide receivers, beneficial to Jonathan Taylor, and then Daniel Jones himself going as the QB 29. Like, you're not taking much risk. Like, Daniel Jones put up 700 yards in 2022, which was his last inkling of any type of talent in his DNA. But I think the rushing upside is there for him. Like, the same rushing upside that we're hoping and wishing for Anthony Richardson, it's already there and proven with Daniel Jones, and he doesn't have a season under 60% completion rate. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm starting to believe that one season, that 2022 season, may be a little bit of an outlier. Now, granted, like, he didn't really stay healthy. He got hurt in 2023, 2024.
Took away Saquon Barkley. The O-line declined in the last 2 seasons.
So, I mean, because I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, with Richardson, the value of Anthony Richardson is pretty much isolated just to Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
He's going to run the football when he's healthy, hopefully get those goal line opportunities, but he's not going to give you much as a passer, and he's not going to elevate the guys around him, right? Like, if you have Michael Pittman and Anthony Richardson ends up being the quarterback, sorry about your luck, because it's just it's not going to happen. With Daniel Jones, you can feel better about the pass catchers in Indianapolis. You can be okay with Pittman. You can be okay with Josh Downs. You can be okay with Alec Pierce, because he can at least get the ball to them. Now, it's not, I don't know that the ceilings are super high, but there's definitely more of a ceiling there than with Anthony Richardson. And while Jones, I don't think, is the runner that Richardson is, he can give you enough with his legs that there is some value there. But again, I'm not drafting him as more than my QB2.
No, facts. Yeah, I ain't telling people to wait until your last pick in the draft for your QB1 to be Daniel Jones. Absolutely not.
Right.
Chill out.
Because even with that great season he had in 2022, like, he was the QB9 that year. That felt like his absolute ceiling to me.
I do recommend, though, if you're going chasing Baker Mayfield at QB7, you better be double tapping that quarterback position. So I think Daniel Jones fits the bill to kind of help that cushion of, like, insurance,
For sure. Next one up, the Jaguars running backs. You got Travis Etienne, you got Bashal Tutin, you got Tank Bigsby. Which would you prefer? Like, I'm trying to come up with a clever question, and I'm like, it's just, I don't know, which one do you like out of that?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I mean, the odd man out feels like it's Tank, right? Because Travis Etienne, he is looked at as the RB1 of this backfield, but it's like Tutin, the fresh new toy, the speedster, who actually fits Liam Cohen's like offensive scheme of like this outside zone scheme, where Tutin thrived in that in college. But you look at where Tank, it's like he has fumbling issues. He couldn't take the job away from a declining, banged up, injured Etienne, and he's not great on the outside zone either. Like, it's not looking like, Tank is going to be the worth taking a shot on, but I would take Tutin at RB42, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Tutin at cost, I think I like the most. Although you talk about Tank Bigsby having fumble problems, that was the knock on Tutin coming out of college. In fact, I think his very first touch in OTAs, he fumbled the ball. Now, look, Liam Cohen shook it off and is like, hey, look, first touch in the NFL, whatever. They weren't making a big deal out of it at the time, but for everybody who sort of had that as a concern, like, it was out there on Front Street, like, right away. So,
I
like Tutin at cost, but also understand that if you're drafting him, you're going to have to wait on him.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to wait.
you have to wait.
At,
So
at least 6 to 8 games. I think
yeah,
that'll be like the
yeah,
window of like where you'll start seeing him. But or he could come out of the gate like how Bucky Irvin did and very early in the season. Like these are things that could be, on the table for him. And again, I like where he's at cost. I don't have to pay up to make him my RB2 or RB3 like that. Like it all depends on roster building of how you want to go about it.
yeah. For the record, the Jaguars have their bye in week 8. So if you are a proponent of the post-bye rookie bump, that could be where Bashaw Tootin starts
Nice.
to make hay. They're on a bye in week 8. Week 9, they're in Las Vegas against the Raiders. So who knows? Maybe that's one to keep an eye on. Speaking of running backs, the Dallas Cowboys, Javonte Williams, Jadon Blue, Miles Sanders. I've been heavy Jadon Blue in best ball drafts.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that is new for you. Come on.
Because here's the thing. I've had to sort of just say it's over with Javonte, right? Like, hey man, like we had a good run. I really believe, and I wish you the best. I can't do this anymore.
He's in the best shape of his life right now, though. Come on. This ain't the time to give up.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. I mean, I think he will be your lead running back.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's something similar to Jacksonville, right? Where Javonte will be the lead back, but I think they're going to give Jadon Blue a lot of opportunities. And again, it's a thing where at cost, if I have the roster space, if I have the bench space that I can wait on him for a few weeks, I think I would rather do that. I mean, I think in best ball, there's certainly a lot less risk. And that's kind of where I've been taking him a whole lot. Miles Sanders, I can't. That's a wrap for me. On Miles Sanders.
He's cooked. He's cooked.
That one sadly is done. I think once he got sort of stiff armed by Chuba Hubbard, we were all kind of like, yeah, that's probably a wrap.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. Patriots wide receivers. You got Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, and Kyle Williams. I know that we've talked about Kyle Williams. I said I've been drafting him in best ball and stacking him with Drake May. I think Demario Douglas kind of is what he's a good player, but also I think
he's like a Khalil Shakir. Like he's a safe dump off slot wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like the floor, I don't think there's a big gap between the floor and the ceiling, which is kind of frustrating. Like the floor's not super low, but the ceiling's also not super high.
It's like this.
Yeah, I mean he lives in a tiny house.
Wiggle room.
He lives like in a crawl space. Like that's kind of what it is. But what are we thinking about Stephon Diggs?
Yeah,
he's I think he's kind of the wild card in this whole thing because if he's out on his Stephon Diggs revenge tour, knowing he gets to play the Bills twice a year, like do we get these Stephon Diggs that's 1,100 yards, or are those days over now that he's 31, soon to be 32 years old?
I think you take the shot in drafts, but it has to be later. And because even if he's off to a slow start, but he is still the wide receiver 1 of that team. Like I would rather him over Kyle Williams or Douglas. And I feel like where he's going in drafts, you're going to be making that decision. Do I go with Packers wide receivers? Do I go with Khalil Shakir, where we talked about that ceiling is just very close to his floor? You're going to have to start making decisions there if you're looking for a wide receiver 4 or a flex there that could become a weekly starter for you. And I think Diggs can be that. We saw him the last time, last season with the Texans, where he was damn near a top 10 wide receiver on a points per game basis. So he could still go out there and make the plays. It's just a matter of now he's coming back from an injury and the whole Cardi B on a boat and all this other party and stuff. This is a wild boy. This is the most I've seen Stephon Diggs outside. So it's what are you doing in Jersey on a random Tuesday night, by the way? But I digress. It's just a lot going on with Stephon Diggs. I understand the fears of it, but I'm willing to take a shot on him. He's going outside the top 40 wide receivers right now.
What would you do in Jersey on a random Tuesday night, like in July? Because I'm sure you had shenanigans occasionally on a Tuesday.
Oh, we were definitely at the diner, man. If we're just I'm thinking back in my days where I was just hanging out with my homies, we're just outside. We'd probably end up at a diner and just chilling. See who's around
before
you.
marriage and fatherhood. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. This is like a 10:30 at night on a Tuesday at a diner, man. Just chilling, kicking it with the boys. But that's way before where I'm at now.
Way before wives and kids, for sure. Um, Other training camp battles to pay attention to: the Rams backfield. I assume when you say the Rams backfield, you're talking about the guys behind Kyron. Is this? No, I mean, like I'm not being a smartass. Like, I mean, seriously, like you talking about like behind, because Kyron, regardless of how you feel about him and how he frustrates you, he is the RB1. Like, I don't think
Yes.
there's a real challenge. So we're talking about like the guys. It's like, the guys behind him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's smart to grab a handcuff. And I think, when we're talking about drafting a handcuff out of the Rams backfield, this is what the notion of like you drafted Kyron Williams, you're worried about his touchdown regression and stuff like that. It's a matter of which one. So, like, now there's actually, some buzz in the fantasy streets. Some folks are actually preferring Blake Corum. And I'm like, he's the same athletic profile prototype of Kyron. I think he's the plug and play if Kyron goes down. But I think Jarquez Hunter is the exotic animal out of this jungle. Like, he's the one that possesses a little bit more explosiveness than Corum. And obviously the ball security I'm going to bring up with Kyron. But I definitely think with McVay going into this offseason wanting versatility, he wants to change it up. It's like there has to be a 1-2 punch system here. There has to be some plan for these running backs that we have been drafting every single year since he's entered the building. Like, there is so much talent in this backfield that it's hard to believe that these two guys, Blake Corum or Jarquez Hunter, are sitting on the sideline the entire season.
I mean, you would think that, but that's kind of what happened last year. Last year I was thinking Blake Corum was gonna cut into that workload, right? And I'm gonna say it had nothing to do with the whole like Kyron Williams is returning punts. Like, it had nothing to do with that. For me, it was they actually spent more draft capital on Corum than they did on Kyron.
Yeah.
And so I thought for that reason you'd see him get more opportunities. He had 58 carries compared to 316 for Kyron Williams. So, I mean, maybe Hunter is maybe he's the chosen one who sort of works into that. I don't know if I see it. I think it's the Kyron Williams show until, he either gets hurt. You hope he doesn't, but unless he gets hurt, or somehow the fumbles become so bad that they have to move him. And I don't know if that happens.
Let's avoid getting to that point. Is my point is that just implement a 1-2 punch. The less time he has the ball in his hands, the less chances he drops the ball. So I'm just saying,
the more times he has the ball in his hands, the more chances he has to break a big one and be the big play guy.
A big one for a couple yards and get unhitched the trailer. We got Jarquez Hunter, a home run hitter. This guy can take it from 40 to 60 to the end zone. Like, I'm just saying we have talent. Just freaking use it. That's just my frustration, man.
Oh, man. We got a text. We got a text from Florio. It says early season Marquise Brown, baby. I'm assuming this has to do with the Rashee Rice situation here.
Shout out Florio.
We should stay back. Hey man, did you bring your umbrella? I'm gonna hit him back. Did you pack an umbrella? Let's see. Other couple other ones. You got the Bills wide receiver too, whether it is going to be Keon Coleman or Josh Palmer. I know you sort of dumped on both of those guys on Twitter recently with the dueling swinging toilets. And then the Giants running backs. I think this stays a 1-2 punch with Tracy and Scadaboo all year. I don't know. I think Devin Singletary is kind of the odd man out in that group.
Yeah,
right now,
most definitely. Because like I didn't even really consider him when you're thinking about this 1-2 punch. Because I'm like, wait, Singletary's still there. Like,
he's still there. Yeah, he's still there.
He could do some things, but it's like Tyrone Tracy to me doesn't feel like he has the full reins of this backfield as the RB1. Like, it may be just a 1-2 punch system. Like, he could do everything under the sun that Scadaboo and that Singletary can do. Like, he can catch, he can block, he can run, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a headache if you want to invest in this backfield,
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I keep trying to get Scadaboo and people keep taking him like a pick or two before me. Like, I can't ever quite get Scadaboo on my roster because people always seem to like him at the same spot that I do, and I haven't been able to grab him. But I think Tracy holds on to the starting job pretty much all year, but I think for me the question is, what is the split going to be between him and Scadaboo by the end of the year? And if it's like a 65-35, 60-40, I don't know that I'd be super surprised. Yeah, maybe I would be. Maybe I would be.
But the problem is for fantasy
let me rethink that.
With fantasy managers, then that's like you got a player you're constantly going to have to worry about in your starting lineups. Like I try to avoid those situations.
For sure. A couple of more questions. See if we can get back to some questions because a lot of folks in the chat. Brett Mahan wants to know, is 1,000 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns a realistic expectation for Calvin Ridley this season? I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah, I feel like we are, I don't say down on Calvin Ridley, but, it just has never quite popped the way we hoped it would have. He had the one big year. He had a huge year in Atlanta in 2020. It looked like he was really ready to take off. Then gets hurt the following year, suspended the year after that. 1 year in Jacksonville, that was kind of meh. Last year in Tennessee was meh.
He just never had a quarterback.
Yeah. So now, I mean, he's got Cam Ward. We'll see what that amounts to. But even last year being sort of meh with, spotty quarterback play, he got you 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I don't know why 1,000 and 6 to 8.
Yeah. Like he did that with Trevor Mid-Lawrence. Like I'm pretty sure we can look at Cam Ward as at least an upside over mid,
Or TML, huh?
T mid.
So yeah, no, I think those are realistic expectations for Calvin Ridley this year.
I like Ridley.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Trying to see if there are any other interesting questions in the chat. I think that's most of them. But always appreciate you guys jumping in and with questions. Here we go. Thoughts on the Cowboys backfield? Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Jadon Blue guy. I think I've hung up my Javonte Williams cape. I think we're putting it nicely on the hanger, putting it in the closet, and then
suddenly the closet.
I mean, look, here's the thing: like if he rips off, right? Like if we get to like week 4 and suddenly for whatever reason Javonte Williams is like the RB8, like yeah, man, we're gonna take the cape back out of the closet. Like we're gonna do this. It's gonna happen.
We're so back.
We're so back. We never left. But no, I mean realistically, I think Javonte, we've sort of seen where the ceiling is, and I do expect that the Cowboys are going to work in other guys. They're going to work in Blue. They may try to work in Miles Sanders. I don't know, but I just at this point, I think Javonte sadly is what he is. And I loved him coming out of Carolina. It just hasn't really happened for him, unfortunately.
There is a pretty picture that you can paint, though, of like the Cowboys are a top 5 offense in scoring and drives and to the red zone to where all we need is Javonte to just fall in a couple times, get peppered with some targets because that's what we saw last season. So it's like maybe there's a future. Maybe he's worth a shot. Yeah, I'm just trying to get you back on MG.
I know you are.
Trying to make you feel better.
I'm just, I'm cool sitting on the sideline for now.
Yeah,
for sure. Brainburst wants to know if we can get an SFB 15 update on my teams or our
teams.
Well, I am on the clock next, waiting on the person in front of me who has like 6.5 hours left to make his pick.
Oh man.
So I'm about to make my 11th round pick. I have not taken a running back.
Wow.
I am not taking a running back.
All wide receiver, tight end, huh?
Quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. So my 2 quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson and Jay Herbo, who I stacked Herbert with Ladd McConkey. You want to talk about stacks? A Herbert McConkey stack, not the worst thing in the world.
Feels good, I bet.
Not the worst thing in the world. But I have Lamar Jackson. My receivers are Drake London, Ladd McConkey, Terry McLaurin, who I drafted before this whole I might hold out thing started happening. Rome Odunze, Jamison Williams. I got Brandon Ayuk in the 10th. And then I have Sam Laporta and Tyler Warren as my tight ends. So,
some hefty tight ends right there, man.
Yeah, and so I mean for anybody who's like looking at me sideways, which I wouldn't blame you. Reason being is because the Scott Fish Bowl, basically it's a super flex league with all flex positions. You don't have to play a running back. And playing on the sleeper format, you get, 2.5 points per reception.
Yeah. 3.5
so
tight ends.
3.5 for tight ends. So I just decided I'm going to load up on pass catchers this year, guys who are high target guys potentially who can be big playmakers. And that's kind of the way I go. And I'm not opposed to taking a running back if I see one, that comes to me that I think is worthwhile. But so far, I just, when I've been on the clock, there haven't been any running backs there that I felt comfortable with taking. So
I waited on running backs. Like my 1 and 2 is RJ Harvey and DeAndre Swift. So I'm cool with that.
And I'm looking at some of the other teams in my division. There are 3 other teams that only have 1 running back. Like I don't have any. There are 3 teams that have just 1. So I am not alone, at least in my strategy.
There's crazier teams out there. You'll find them.
For sure. And I'm looking. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that have 3 quarterbacks. I have to decide whether or not I want to take a third quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to figure out if I want to take a third quarterback for sure.
It is super flex.
It is super flex, and so that way you can
just take Kenny Pickett.
I'm not taking Kenny Pickett. Actually, so I'm on the clock next, and the quarterbacks that are left, there's some good quarterbacks left. Tua's still out there. I don't know how I feel about Tua necessarily, but Stafford's there, Geno Smith's there, Sam Darnold is there, Anthony Richardson is there, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson.
Holy crap! Mike Williams just retired.
Wait, what?
Yo, what is happening?
Wait,
Mike Williams just retired from Rap Sheet.
Is this actually Rap Sheet?
Breaking news. Yes. Hold on.
Wow. Hang on. Yeah. Wow. The Ladd McConkey era is just getting stronger.
That ADP must be disgusting. And this is what my case was before, where he was going in ADP. Like he was going like literally mid to back end of the second round. I can honestly see him going off in the turn now.
Yeah, there it is. There it is from Ian Rappaport. Veteran wide receiver Mike Williams has informed the Chargers that he plans to retire, walking away after 8 seasons with 2 eclipsing 1,000 yards. He was placed on the PUP list just a couple of days ago. And so apparently you decided that is it for Mike Williams. So congratulations on your career, Mike Williams. But definitely a surprise. Did not
Trey Harris
that.
knew. Trey Harris knew.
Yeah, I mean, look, Trey Harris, you got a little bit of leverage, bro. If you're trying to still hold out and get some more benefits there. So, all right. I feel a lot. I mean, I felt okay with my Ladd McConkey, Justin Herbert stack. I feel even better with my Ladd McConkey, Justin Herbert stack after this. Wow. All right. So some news breaking right here on the fantasy cheat sheet.
That's insane.
That is absolutely crazy for sure. Let's see, trying to think anything else. Clem Class wants to know, how much do you elevate a stack in best ball versus redraft? I think I'd much rather stack in best ball, and I'm not against it in redraft leagues, but in redraft, I tend to want to kind of diversify my roster and try to get as many offenses involved as possible. Best ball I will stack, especially because depending on the format and the platform, you have those late season games where, you want to try to either have a team stack or a game stack to try and help either get you in the playoffs or get you through the playoffs. So much more about it on the best ball side than the redraft side.
I agree. Big facts.
Last thing before we get out of here, always love you guys hanging out with us. Do you see Jimmy Graham has set a rowing record?
Yeah, like this was one of those like literally how you wrote it in the rundown. What?
Like what? Jimmy Graham was part of a team that completed the Arctic Challenge, where they rowed roughly 584 nautical miles across the Arctic Ocean in a little over 10 days. The pace broke the previous record for a team of 4, which, wow. So they kind of smashed the record. The previous record was 15 days, 5 hours, and 32 minutes. So they beat the record by like 5 days.
Yeah. What? Again, why? What made you go yourself into this type of activity? Like, I hate cold.
I mean, there's that part.
Cold.
So he's part of a 4-man crew. They started on July 4th in Norway, and they arrived in Svalbard, which I will admit I'm terrible at geography. I can't tell you exactly where that is. But they got there on July 14th. Here's the thing, like, I guess when you are a retired athlete, you still have the desire to compete. You still are in decent shape. Most of these guys are still in decent shape, right? I mean, if you're Jimmy Graham, how old are you? What, you're 38? Which is like old. There he is. There's the photo of him and his team. 38 is old in like football years, but like, it's not too old like for the earth, sort of thing. So
I'll just beat your time from the couch to the fridge. I mean, going to the Antarctica, like, what are we doing?
You know what? I respect it. Like, I couldn't be me, but I respect it. Like,
it's only like 1% of people could say he like did what he did. So I
absolutely. So yeah, he is in the record book for the fastest 4-man team rowing time in the Arctic Challenge. That's the other part. It was 10 days. So I would assume that they had to stop at night, right?
I'm stopping day one. The first 10 hours we stopping, bro.
Right. I mean, like, you got to stop and like where do you use the bathroom? Like, do you stand up and just,
let it fly down your leg right in the canoe?
Let it fly off the boat? Like what? How does that happen? I have questions. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to talk to Jimmy Graham, but
I have questions.
Jimmy, I have questions. That's all. I respect the hustle. I respect the accomplishment. I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
Wow. Congrats.
Congrats, though. Congrats to Jimmy Graham for sure. All right. That feels like a good place for us to take a pause for this week. That's enough for this edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. A little bit of a selfish note here. You can check me out this afternoon. I will be on the Insiders with the guys, with Tom and Mike and Judy. On the Insiders this afternoon, talking about some of these training camp battles and the ones that I am keeping my eye on the closest. So you might hear a little bit of what you just heard today. But check it out. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific time on NFL Network. I'll be on about midway through the show. So back with you on Tuesday. Hopefully Florio is back with us as well. He didn't respond to my umbrella text. So,
I don't think he liked that one.
Yeah, I'm like, hopefully it's all good, because he did not respond to it at all. So we'll see what's going on there. But back with you on Tuesday. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks to Gavin for getting us up and on as well. So for LaQuan, I am Marcus. This has been the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. We'll see y'all again on Tuesday. Enjoy the weekend, folks.